Hi everyone, going live here and happy to may invite you to another soul care live class today. Can't wait to invite Dennis, so I will do that right now and I will check whether I can find your account and see the one that you just sent, the DIN Trading Club. And have not found it yet, so I'm trying again. But maybe you can already see me going live and then I can click on your name. Hi Trijo, happy that you're here joining us. Good to see you.
Try my name instead.
Okay. But then I see your personal account.
That's fine. Let's just use
okay.
that.
You should have gotten the invitation, I think.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I think.
All right, there we are. Just closing the sound, the speakers of my laptop to make sure we don't have too much echoes. One second. All right.
Cool. Okay, can you hear me? Is there an echo?
I can hear you well, just checking. Do we have echoes here? Do you hear any echoes?
Yeah, I did. I don't think I do now. I do hear my... Okay, let's find out. So, but if I mute myself on Zoom, then you're not going to hear my voice on Zoom.
No, exactly. So we don't need the mute on Zoom, but we need the mute of your laptop speakers.
But how do you mean? Zoom? That's my laptop.
I know. And then probably somewhere on your laptop there should be your laptop has speakers, right? Where we can hear.
Those are muted.
Those are muted? Okay.
The speakers are muted and the microphone is on.
I think we're good. I don't hear any echoes.
Okay, I hear echo. It's fine. That's good.
I think it's going to be fine. But it's important that we need to check that there are not too many echoes, right? So I'll be good if we just check it one more time. Let's see. Can I do something here on my side then?
I don't know.
I don't know what other step I can take here. You are still hearing echoes of yourself?
Yeah, of myself. Correct.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. Hi Sanna, Frijo, Chef, Björn, thank you everyone. Happy that you're joining. We're about to hop into this live class. We were just checking some of the tech, last tech check for some echoes, and then we'll dive in. I think I've done everything I can on my end here.
Sure. Yeah. That's good. Now there's still an echo.
Yeah, there's still an echo. Sorry for that. I don't know what else I can do here.
No. I don't know why I hear an echo. Have you muted your laptop then?
I have muted the laptop too. Okay. Then there's one last thing I can check. Is there any other microphone that I can mute or thing that I can mute without losing the thing? How about now?
Yeah, let's see. Yep, now there's no echo.
Now there's no echo. I hope this will work.
Well, let's find out.
Let's find out. All right. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much, dear Dennis, as well for joining and for taking your precious time out of your busy schedule to be here. And that the same goes for all of you watching today or listening. once this is turned into a podcast. I am so grateful for everyone here, and I can't wait to start and dive into today's topic, which is how to invest profitably in 2023. And I would just love to let you know that if you're here and if you're listening to us and you'd like to ask your questions or join in, that we just really hope that you'll ask them and type them into the chat box below here, or have any thoughts, or if you can maybe resonate with anything that we share, please do share whatever you feel like down here in the comment box. That's for now going live, of course, and for the podcast, if you like to hop in or join or ask any questions, we'll make sure that we'll share all the information needed in the show notes below this. Hi, Raluca, happy that you're here. I just would love to start to give a bit of an explanation on how today will go. We will have about 1 hour, and we'll dive into today's topic, and Dennis will be your guide and teacher mostly, and we'll have a nice conversation together. And meanwhile, there's time for you to ask your questions, and at the end, Dennis has prepared a beautiful exercise for you, so for us really. So we'll dive into that at the end. So make sure you stay until the end. I hope that you do. And to start off, Dennis, I would love to let people that don't know you yet know what it is that you're an expert in, and what your background is. So I will get to you in a second and ask you some questions. And before that, I'd love to give a bit of an intro by telling everyone that the things that I know about you is that you're a beautiful soul with a beautiful heart. I'm grateful to have connected with you years ago and still get to connect with you. And apart from your beautiful spirit and energy, you're the head trader and trainer with Marcus de Maria for Investment Mastery. And you're also an international speaker, as I've come to know you. You're an expert in trading and investing, and have now been trading over 6 strategies in crypto and stocks. And you've been making over 10% per month on some of these accounts. So you've been doing great, and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I believe that since 2016, being a head trader for Marcus, you've also been managing a team of traders, and you're seen as an expert, and you advise many crypto projects, as I understand. And not only that, you also write articles for one of the biggest crypto newspapers in Sweden. And I think that, it's just an honor to may join time with you and may join minds with you today. Did I leave out on anything that you'd like to also share more about?
No. Well, thank you so much, for the opportunity to be here today. I really appreciate it. And no, I think that's perfect, right? I'm not sure if I would say that I'm an expert, but I've done fairly well, and been doing this for quite a long time. I just think that's the thing, right? That I have a few more years than most people doing this. So hopefully I can teach your audience one thing or two today.
Well, I hope so too. I'm sure you will. At least I hope that today's audience will allow themselves to kind of soak in all the information that will be shared. And maybe to start off, it might be good to kind of give a bit of an extra note there. Like, it doesn't really matter if you have invested before in life or if you're starting that journey, right? As an entrepreneur, it is always good to just take in all the information that is out there and to start whenever you're ready. I know that some of the people watching or listening today might have not yet started this journey on trading and investing, but do love to learn more so that they can kind of carry out their missions, right, in this world. And maybe checking in with you, like today's topic, how to invest profitably in 2023. What does this topic mean to you? What does it? What will it mean for us? I'm curious.
Yeah, of course. I just want to sure I have a little bit of echo still, so okay. I hope if it's fine with me, right? But you say so, and everyone else can hear me properly. I think that's the main thing.
I hear it too in somewhere in the back, and I don't know where to change it. Can anybody type in if you can hear us correctly?
Yeah, so if you have echo, just let us know, I suppose. Cool. But yes. Yeah, and as well, meanwhile we're waiting for someone to write that, I could ask you a question. I mean, to invest properly in 2023, it's interesting. It's like everything else. I think it was Tony Robbins that said, you know, the best time to start, well, anything you do, invest or whatever you do, would have 10 years ago, but the second best time is definitely now. And absolutely now. The market is down so much. What most people do, right? They when the market is an all-time high, we can take cryptos as an example. Bitcoin was at 67,000 a couple of months ago, and that's the moment where most people invest. Now, on the other hand, when we have a discount where the market is hovering around just below 20,000, depending on when you look at it, then now people don't even touch it with a pitchfork because now it's too dangerous. Now they want to wait for prices to go even lower. And that is, of course, the challenge, that the mindset there that now is the time when you should invest, then most people don't, because the comes into play. So I can tell where we do see the biggest growth in 2023, but it will come down to just start getting into the game, especially now when the prices are this low. So there's a two things that would make. Number one, it would be super important to have a strategy. I'm more than happy to go through the strategy that you can apply right now, actually. That is a very simple one. Most people don't use it, but you just need to know how to use it. Number two is, now there's no echo. Well, maybe
okay, good.
So then two is to use the asset class you invest into. What most people do as well, they invest a lot of money in the riskiest assets. So startups as even they see projects in thousands of in it's by great companies, much but by Google, Facebook, they pay you dividends, and they just gives you the but what they forget is that's where the risk is. So yeah. Actually, I'm doing that at the moment. Facebook is down. Microsoft, Bitcoin. Now is the time using a solid strategy.
I'm sorry for that echo. I hear an echo. I'm really grateful for you sharing that now is the time. I'm happy that you point that out for everybody watching and listening. I was just checking before you dive into what we can do now in this time then. And before we dive into that little beautiful strategy that people can already start with now. Are you good on your side? Are you still hearing echoes?
Yes. I don't know, do you want me to start from Zoom?
Yes, let's do that.
Alright, let's try. Cool. I guess now there should not be an echo then, I suppose. Do you hear an echo now?
I don't have an echo now, so that...
Me neither.
That's good. Let me check. I don't hear any echoes now.
Okay, great. So there's no echo. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. Sorry for that. All right. So you were diving into why now, and why, as Tony Robbins shares, there's a second best good time, and then there's the now, and that you have a strategy that you could share with people listening. Yeah, sure. Is that where you want to start already? Or do you have something else?
we could start is obviously, well, I mean, I say obviously, but it comes with experience, of course. And in my humble opinion, I can share with you some of the most common mistakes that I did when I started. So what I did was exactly that, right? Number one, you can write this down. I hope you have a pen and paper. And number one would be that I did not have a strategy when I started. No strategy. I'm going to teach you one today that you can use. And obviously, there's a lot more advanced strategies we can use as well. But number one is to make sure you have a strategy. And a strategy needs to tell you 5 things. It needs to tell you when to get in, and how much you're getting in with, what asset you're investing in, and of course why. You need to know why you're doing this, and then when you're exiting with a profit and when you're exiting with a loss. If you don't know these 5 parts before you invest, then you cannot make money. So, well, it's very rare, I would say. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I've never seen it. So you need to know that beforehand. You would never go into a car and just drive it without checking so the tires are put on correctly, or there's a seat belt in the car, or even where you're going. How often do you go in the car driving without even knowing your destination? Probably never. But that is what people do with the trading and investing. So have a strategy. That's the first mistake I made. Number 2, make sure you have proper education. Like with everything in life, you go through proper education, like you go to university for 3 to 5 years, not to mention if you become a doctor. But, and right, you would never let anyone to operate on your children or yourself for that matter, if you don't know that they actually have a doctor's license. But you would invest your hard-earned money in the market without an education. It's just insane, right? I've done it myself, by the way. So, you know, I didn't know better, but now I do. So after I learned the strategies, I have education. Well, you know, like magic, I'm now profitable with my investments. Ta-da, right? But anyone can do it. So number 3 of the mistakes I made was I risked way too much, right? I picked the assets I thought were going to go up the most. I looked at forums, Facebook groups. I found these stocks that were small caps, really small, just launched on the stock market, even startups themselves, and I invested a lot of money in those because I thought, you know, if these really goes off, I'm going to make hundreds of thousands. But of course, like the statistics says, the statistic never lies. The startups are very likely to fail. 7 out of 10 startups fail within 5 years. And then in another 5 years, another 7 out of 10 fails. So my probabilities to actually succeed are very small. So you should write that down as well, right? That trading and investing is all about probabilities. And probabilities means that one thing is more likely to happen over another. So make sure you have a strategy, the proper education, and make sure you don't risk too much. We are not here to find the next Facebook. We invest into Facebook because it's one of the best companies in the world, or biggest. The probabilities are that they are going to go up in value. So if you compare to a startup. So when I invest, right, I go to, well, am I using Facebook? You know, we're using one of Facebook's products right now. I do ads on Facebook and Instagram all the time. So yes, they're making millions, and now they're actually at the forefront of technology. So they're jumping into cryptos, hence changing name to Meta as well, creating a metaverse. So make risk too much either. So those are some of the mistakes to avoid. Do you have a follow-up question on that, or would you like me to continue with the assets to invest in, or?
Thank you so much for checking back in. I love just a little recap for people that maybe have just joined us, because I see David, Linda, Maaike, Anna Maartje, Florian, Maid, Andrea, Linda. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm happy that you're here. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box below. You've just touched base on why now is the right time to invest, and what mistakes to avoid. And I love how real and honest you're there, because, you know, I think a lot of us can relate to that we start out in this investment world maybe without the right education. And I think we'll share later today as well why you and where you work would be a beautiful way where people can educate themselves more, right? And how they can find you. We'll share that in a bit. But maybe before you'll dive into the next step with us, maybe just to help people kind of jump into getting to know you a bit better so that they can relate better, I would love to ask you if you could share a bit about your entrepreneurial journey, and so that people can connect, and from there on be maybe more open to what next step would be for them to take.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I started my entrepreneurial journey when I was, I don't know, 12. You know, it was selling everything from candy canes to raise money for a school trip, etc. But then started my first company at 15. So I've always been a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit in that sense. But really, and I've always been in sales and selling, marketing. I've been afraid of speaking to people, which is, I guess, a good thing as well. And I've always been into personal development, much as yourself, and my mom is as well. She's big on personal development, where I got a lot from. So I used to, travel the world. And I think I came to a realization that I really wanted to have something more out of life when I was a tour guide in Austria, because I met so many people there, and because every week we got new tourists coming, basically. And I asked all of them. I met hundreds over the course of a few months. And they all said, right, or most of them said, no, I'm not sure what I'm doing with my life. I'm not sure if I like what I'm doing. But they are there for 30 years. I'm like, oh, holy moly, right? I don't want to be in that situation. And I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad at that time as well. So it just made sense for me. I wanted to have more out of life. And then I got into my mom got me into it, actually, to trade and invest. She does a little bit, right, funds. But now she does a lot more, of course. But back then, this was back in 2016, I think. Then I started to invest, right? It went really well. And I'm like, holy, right? I can really make money out of this. And I don't really spend much time on it. This is great. But of course, then I just ended up losing money instead. Because I did every mistake you could probably imagine. I probably invented a couple along the way. Because I didn't have any strategy, no financial education. I was a ski instructor, tour guide. I had no how to invest, and I let my emotions take the best of me. And I managed to lose 70% of my money, actually, right? And I probably can relate to that. How many of you, have ever let your emotions take the better of you? And we can always be in that position, and that we went in something new, but we just need to learn how to in order to master it. So I lost 70% of my account as a result of just doing the wrong thing. I was very consistent, but I just did the wrong thing consistently. And I lost 70% of my account, and then I was so close to giving up, which most people do, by the way. I'll be the first to raise my hand, giving up on this was one of the things that I said, I'm not going to give up on this, because I just knew that if this is working for other people, surely it needs to be working for me as well. So what I did was actually saw an ad that Marcus and Investment Mastery came to Sweden. This was back in 2016. And in October 2016, and I went to the one-day event, right? And I said, well, this actually makes sense. You need to learn how to do it. So I invested in their workshop and their course. And now, if we fast forward a couple of years, I've diligently put in 1 hour a day, now a lot less, but to start with an hour a day, a bit more, just kept doing it. I never gave up, just much as you go to the gym every day and you start seeing results. So, and now, since 2017, it took me a good 6 to 8 months to really get up to speed. But from then, I've been making 4.53% a month, which is 50-60% a year. And as Feline mentioned, a lot more on some accounts today, because not only does your money compound, but your mindset does, right? I get better and better as I trade. So now I'm in a very fortunate position, just because I just kept going to be able to live out of my trading and investing today, actually, which is something I also made my mission. So I joined Marcus and Investment Mastery, now John as their CEO, to teach everyone to become financially free, such as I was fortunate enough to be. So here I am now, leading the trading department and working more than ever, even though I don't need to.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing more about your journey, and also the honesty on, how there were times where, it might have been tough as well, or where you needed to keep on going, even though you saw some less satisfying results maybe in the beginning. And now, well, keep on going and, showing up every day, and practicing for your dream in that sense. You've made it work, and here you are.
I mean, just hard work, right? And and if I would say that there hasn't been struggles along the way, I would be lying, right? It's still, right? I still wake up today and it's like, I don't want to trade today, but still I do it because it's you just create a habit out of it. We all have those. I'm no different.
Yes, I love that. And what I love, maybe before we dive into a bit more of the strategies, what I love that you share is how we, as human beings, if we do have this mission, right? A lot of people that maybe might listen today feel they have this mission or this calling, and sometimes we can get stuck on how to get there, or we want to control the how, right? But when we notice that it might be so much easier if we kind of submerge ourselves in these types of strategies, like you'll be teaching us today, strategies that will help create extra income streams so that you can get to carry out that mission sooner, or maybe in more ease, it might be so helpful to be open to the information that you're sharing today with us, and to allow yourself to, even though it's hard, to try and practice and keep on practicing, because that way you'll get closer and sooner to this healer's mission of yours, helping more and more people on that path that you're walking as an entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely.
And thank you for sharing that, and for being such a beautiful example in that.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, sure thing. Before we dove into more of your personal journey, you were about to after the common mistakes that people make, you were about to share more on strategies, and maybe you'd like to take us on back there.
Yeah.
Where you were starting.
I mean, when you talk about strategies, right, there's so many different ones. And we always say you can make more money than the funds, which is so true. You actually can. Most people don't know that because you just don't have the information. So I started, right? And how can we make this easy? Well, what does most people do? They do the strategy that's called the buy and pray strategy, which is a terrible strategy. You buy, you just put all your money in when Bitcoin is at 67,000, then you hope for the best. You have no clue when you should exit, when you should enter with more money even, right? Most people don't even do that. So the easiest thing to do is we have a very limited time today, and I would love to invite you to some more content that I know Feline is putting together where you can learn more advanced strategies. But for today, I hope it's okay if I teach you something that's a bit more simple, anyone can use it, you can actually apply today. So that would be something that is called, we call it price cost averaging. It's world known as the dollar cost averaging. It's a very simple strategy. I'm going to show you some variations today. So what most people do then is they just invest one lump sum at one price for the best. That's a terrible strategy. So why don't you have, well, the plan could be that instead of doing that, why don't you take the amount of money you have? Maybe you can save, let's say you can save 100 euros a month, right? So what you can do is you pick some of these assets that everyone knows. We call them blue chip companies. It could be Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are the biggest cryptos. Or it can be Facebook, Google, Microsoft, especially now when they're this low. And you can start investing every month, right? Instead of just putting one amount in. Because if you put everything in, you don't know if it's going to go up and down, right? You don't know. But what we do know is that over time, for the last 100 years, the stock market has always gone higher. So I'm going to rely on history. So if you take 100 euros a month, and every day, every month, you don't care about where the price is. This is what the funds do, by the way. So if you just apply this, you will get the same results that the funds do. So what you do, same amount every month, all right? So, oops, sorry, my phone gave up. It became tired, I think. There we go, that should be better. So what you do is you invest the same amount every month. So if you have 100 euros and you invest in Facebook, you invest 100 euros wherever the price is. If the price is $100, great, or 100 euros, you put in 100 euros. Then next month, maybe it's lower. Then let's say it's 80 euros next month. Then you still put in 100 euros, which gives you a little bit more money, right? Or a little bit more shares. And then the next month it's at 60 euros. Then you put in 100 euros again. So you get your average price down. And there's a few variations of this. So if you do that in the course of a year, your price will be average because it's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, but you don't know what the price will be. So if you do the price cost average, that will give you an average price. And a variation of this is, and that's when it becomes a bit more time consuming. You need to put 20 minutes a month for this. So you spend a little bit of time looking at the chart. So let's imagine if the price is at 100 euros, the month after it's actually gone down a bit to 80 euros. So then you invest. But then the month after it goes from 80 euros up to 120 euros. Then you're in profit. But what the funds would do now, they would still invest 100 euros for you, no matter if the price is high or low. But what you can choose to do is to invest either less or nothing. So you can maybe you only invest the months where it's actually lower than from the month before. So in that sense, you're getting your average price down a lot more. So all you need to do is to pick a couple of assets, could be Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and you do that on a monthly basis. You put in the same amount every month to get an average price, and over the course of 5, 6, 7 years, then you're gonna make money. That is nothing is for certain, but if we look at history, that's always been the case. And what we do, so when you're positioned, because this is another question, people do that, but they never sell. So we need to learn how to sell as well. So then, when your position is up, let's say 20%, your broker will tell you this. So when you're plus 20%, and by the way, that is 20 times better than the bank will give you 20%, then you sell, then you take the profits, and then you start all over again. Until you're up 20%, then you take the profits, then you start all over again. So you're a little bit more active. It's gonna require 20 minutes a month or so. So that is a strategy you can actually apply right away.
Oh, I love that one. I love how you make it sound a lot easier and doable for people that might be scared about this and know that they want to do it or know that it will help them. But sometimes us, entrepreneurs on the creative side might think, hey, maybe we're not good at math, or maybe we're not good at, getting ourselves through these theories and strategies. And it's the way you put it here is that it will take you about 20 minutes a month, that it might be helpful to have a strategy of a certain same amount that you put in every month. And it will definitely guaranteed give you an average that will help you grow. And also, if I kind of pour this together in how I came to understand you, this is something that will definitely be a 5 to 6 year strategy, and you will see really great results from that. And I think I'm just grateful that you share this, because so many people might have never heard of it, and it is so much closer to you than you think. I just love how you elaborated there. Thank you.
Yeah, and most people, right, they think, oh, it's too risky, right? But if you invest 100 euros, 100 euros is all you can lose. You can't lose more than you actually invest. So just start learning, and as you see, it's working. Because if I told you that you could for certain make 5% a month, you would do it, right? Because then eventually you could actually leave your job if that's what you want to, and then start doing it full time. If you knew that was possible, but you don't know it yet. But as you get because you can drive a car. The car itself is not dangerous. If you look at a car, you're not going to go, oh, that's too dangerous for me. No, because everyone else is driving. So the vehicle is never what's risky. It's the driver that is risky. That's everything, right? So as long as you become aware of a driver and you know how to drive the vehicle, it's not risky anymore. And that's the same with trading and investing.
Thank you. Thank you for helping. Oh, there might be people out here that have been doing this for years, but I'm just making sure that we also include everybody that might have some fears around the riskiness of it also. Thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about these? Because you started off with this one beautiful monthly strategy, really. Is there anything else that you felt like diving into?
No, I think because now we went through in the beginning. Hopefully, the ones that are here could watch the recording if they haven't heard it yet. But make sure you have a strategy that really fits those 5 criteria. Don't go for the super risky assets. Invest in solid ones that will still make you great profits. By the way, we saw companies such as Facebook up hundreds of % after the pandemic, which I hope never comes back, of course. And it's just repeating. These patterns are repeating, and now it's such a great position to invest in. And then, of course, don't do the mistakes that I did in the beginning. So as long as you avoid those, and start with a simple strategy. It's better to start, and you might say, well, Dennis, I don't have any money. I only have 200 pounds. It's not worth it. But if you have 200 euros, pounds, whatever you have, start with it. That's how I started. I managed to turn, you can watch this video on YouTube as well, where I go through it more in detail, but I managed to turn 4,000 euros, or it was dollars actually, $4,000 to over 100,000 in 2 years. And that was with cryptos, and then to a lot more than that as well. That's just one part of it. So if I went by the philosophy of, I said, I don't even want to start because I don't have the money, where would I be today, right? It's just go, you start. It creates a snowball effect. And then to think, what is the best investment in 2023? I'm going to go with the cliche here and say that, you know, it's in yourself. But that is, of course, always true. And but I would say 2023, what's going to really pay off the biggest, in my opinion, and in our opinion, our 20 years of experience combined with Marcus and myself, I've been going for 8 years or so. And we would say it's the crypto market, absolutely, the crypto market and the tech market. And we can invest into stuff such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Facebook even, Google, Microsoft. And we have other companies as well that are a little bit more risky we're looking at. But if they're more risky, we invest less money. Same with cryptos. But we think that's going to be the market that's going to, when the market turns, that's definitely going to go up a lot. And why do I know that? I don't know that, right? There's no recommendation, obviously. And about putting on money, and the reason is because invention and always when companies are adapting for the future. We saw a great example of this. Kodak, it was one of the biggest camera manufacturers in the world. But they believed the digital camera was a hype, right? It was never going to succeed. And what happened was, because it didn't adapt and embrace invention or the growth right in the world, they went bankrupt. And that could happen. We just came back from the Web Summit. We were in Lisbon, spent thousands, me, Mark, to just meet all these amazing blockchains, companies, to learn what's the future of tech and the future in the world. So the reason I say that the tech industry, with the companies that are adapting, will be the biggest ones, is because that's been the pattern always. There's not one exception of this. And the biggest ones usually grow steadily over time, as long as they adapt. And that is what we're seeing in the tech world, combined with AI, etc., combined with also the metaverse and cryptos in general. But this is also true for other industries, depending on what industry you're an expert in. We're looking at everything from the medical industry to retail, but with the companies that are adapting. But there you had a few at least, and the general theme we see for 2023 and beyond.
Well, thank you so much for already revealing this right now, on what people can focus on, or, you know, keep in mind when they start their investment journey, or when they're already more advanced in that journey, what to focus on, and maybe broaden their mindset a bit on the crypto and tech world. There might be people out here that find that still you know, something to doubt. And I love how you pointed out again, and how you help us keep that mind open towards that direction too, because I believe in it too. I love to invest in cryptos, and I do that myself. So I just hope for everybody listening or watching now, or listening later, that they keep on opening their minds whenever some opportunity or chance, or a friend or somebody you know comes on your path and shares their knowledge. And then at the same time, stay open for all these opportunities, right? And receive the chances that you get when they arrive on your path. And then I'd love to ask you, just to help people kind of prepare, but also a little bit protect themselves, like where should they then go to when they want to educate themselves, and to what kind of information shouldn't they listen? Do you have some advice on that for us?
Great question. It's always good to do your research, of course. And I think there's so many ways you can get knowledge. I mean, for me, example, I've probably been to 40 or so courses, and I also tried the way of just Googling and YouTube, which, by the way, is very hard work because there's thousands of people saying 1,000 different things, which makes it very hard. So what I would love to do for you guys, and I'm not saying that you know, we are the best solution, because you will only be the judge of that if this is for you. But what I would do for you at least is to invite you to a few things, right? Either you can join a webinar for stocks or cryptos, depending on what you're most into, maybe both, I don't know. So you can get a good introduction to it, where I go a bit deeper into both these areas. And then also I would love to give you free books that me and Marcus have written together about cryptos and stocks that you can download. So I'm sure Feline will have links for you that you can do that. So we would love to support you. And I'm sure as well we can jump on a call at some point with my team if you would like to discuss more your personal situation. But we'll find a way where you can communicate to us. But in essence, the biggest mistake I did when I started, which cost me hundreds of thousands, was to not educate myself. And the faster you can do it, better. It goes for everything in life, right? I'm a huge, I know that Feline is a big into health. She's incredible. And I'm also big into health, right? It's a cycle, but I have a personal trainer. I have a coach in that as well, because I know that health is important, and I know that I will reach my target so much faster if I have someone pushing me a little bit. I don't have 300 years to live, unfortunately, so I need to make things happen. And the bigger I want to play this, the more I want to do. And you know this, you're all entrepreneurs, so most of you, I think, and some of you are hopefully very knowledgeable in your fields as well, which I admire you for. And but for me at least, I want to grow and do as big of an impact as possible, which is why I'm surrounding myself with the right type of people, like Feline, right, with Marcus as well, the same there. And I have a mentor in properties, we invest in properties, and I have a personal trainer. So I, with 8 years of experience, have coaches and mentors as well, obviously, to grow 10 times faster. So that is what I would wish for you too.
I love that so much, and thank you for the beautiful share and compliment there as well. And I love how you kind of make it even more sound even more important on how to train yourself and educate yourself on all these different topics, on every topic really, because we can grow on all of these things, right? Even if it's our relationship with people, with money, with our health, with all the different aspects of where to invest in. And somebody's sharing some hearts here too. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. I love it. What I would love to check in with you too is I get a question from many people that when it comes to that world of investing, not only investing in personal development, but also in, let's say, property and crypto and stocks and everything that you're also joining in and sharing with us today. Some people are so scared because they've had this bad experience in the past, right? So they don't dare to listen to the people around them anymore. And I would say, just like you shared, to go and find all the material and links that we put in the show notes so that you know where to find Dennis and his team and where you can educate yourselves on these topics. But what would you say to people, you know, how can they deal with people that have gone negative about it? How would you deal with that? Because that's a question I get a lot from our clients.
Yeah, that is a great question. I know, I mean, I was there myself, right? I had bad experiences, and I have people who have bad experiences, right? Yeah, people calling us scams all the time, all day long, right? Because they've had bad experience, and that's okay. That's really okay. But the way I see it is, we cannot change people, but the way I've gone through it is that I'm going to show them what's possible, right? I have very close, my family among them, right? Like, it's never going to work, right? And you probably, even your family says, like, oh, it really is not working. But that's why I also moved to UK. I'm not saying you should move to UK to surround yourself with the right people, but maybe that's a good start, right? Find people that are like-minded. I think that helps. But for me, a big driver is, oh, you're saying I can't do this? I'm going to show you I can do this. And now about trading and investing? Do you guys think they listen now? Yeah, now they do listen because they actually see, it's actually where I was wrong. Because people, their experience, they don't come from the facts. Because I have the facts. This is working for me, right? I don't really care if it's working for anyone else in that sense. I really want everyone that's willing to open their mind, listen, and learn. I would like to teach. We have helped thousands of people become very wealthy through trading and investing over time, right? It's always over time. Nothing worthwhile comes over just in a day or two. And it's really the same with everything in life. But I think 2 starting points, just change the mind for yourself. If someone says, you can't do this, how you get over it, great. Show them it's working. Because the more money you make, the more impact you can have in the world. Money matters, right? It's not everything, but it matters. The more money you have, the bigger difference you can do in the world. Which is, you might say, why are you doing this, Dennis? Why don't you just trade all day? I don't want to trade all day. I want to help people like Marcus helped me. I know if that's what you want to do, great, do it. But the more money I make, the more I can give to charity, the more people I can employ, the more people I can help. And fulfill my mission as well, because life is so much more than just making money. But the more money I have, the more I can do for others, and of course I can enjoy life more as well. It's just a ripple effect of everything. So just try to get over it and just say to yourself, I'm going to show them the way. And then hopefully when you show them the way, they can do the same. And then you have ripple effects of people helping more and more.
Thank you for that one. That was really beautiful, because I know this is a fear for many people when they kind of sabotage themselves out of their soul's purpose or their calling or their beautiful dream they have, right? And it might help them to find that new inspiration and keep on going, just prove them wrong. And if it's necessary, because it's a closed one that doesn't believe in what you believe in, it might always help to just know that you can share it later and now keep it for yourself. And just keep on hanging on to that dream, because we need you, beautiful leaders here. Thank you for that. I'm looking at the time, so I want to make sure that we cover what we can cover and give you the space for your exercise as well. So maybe I'd love to, before we dive into that, I'd love to check in with you. Is there anything that you need to maybe share with us before we can go into that exercise?
Great question. No, I mean, I don't think so. I think I shared a lot of things today. I think that's great. Just make sure you take it one step at a time. Rome was not built in one day. You're not going to learn trading and investing in 20 minutes or in half an hour, 40 minutes as we've been here today. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's a lot easier than a lot of people think. You don't need to leave this to someone else. I think it's time to take control of your finances. I hope you think the same. I know we are really being attacked on a lot of fronts. The inflation has never been higher. The cost of living, like the food, just buying eggs, right, has gone up tremendously. But it's not like you're getting paid the equivalent. So just by having the same income, you're actually losing in longer term. And I don't think we can trust a pension. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think we can. But I hope I'm wrong. So what I like to do is build these different pillars. We do believe it's 5 pillars out there, and one of them is definitely the career. I love working. I love the career. I love that you have a job, and hopefully that you love and adore. But then building the other pillars. So yeah, what if Corona comes back, right, or a pandemic comes back? Then you lose your job. Great, I have another pillar. I have my stocks and shares and Bitcoin and trading and investing. Or you have your properties, right? But you have more pillars, so you can be more secure and safe. That's what it's all about. Because at the end of the day, like Marcus said, that life is never about trading. I'm not telling you to do 8 hours a day trading. You don't need that. Personally, I have like 8 to 10 accounts that I trade. We're setting up a fund now as well. 8 to 10 accounts, I probably trade 6 or different strategies from those. I spend 2 hours a day. If you trade 1 or 2 strategies, 20 to 30 minutes a day is enough. Right? So anyone can do this. If I can do this, you can absolutely do this. It requires a bit of time. I've just had, the only difference between you and me is that I had more time in the market. I had practiced more. That's the only difference. You might even be smarter than I am, because I'm not that smart, really. So I'm just stubborn. I just keep going no matter what, right? I never give up. So be disciplined as well. So yeah, just get started. Just get started. Start learning at a time, and over time you will not recognize your account, which comes down to the power of compounding, which we do explore more both in the book and the webinars, but where it really compounds. For me, 5 years after I started with 4,000, I cannot even recognize my account anymore. I'm like, really? How did that even happen? It feels like it happened overnight, but it was 5-6 years ago.
Oh, I love that. And I love how you point out to create these different pillars so that they can catch us when one of the, that's how do we call that? One of the certainties or securities that we thought we could rely on fall out, then we have created a strong enough base or foundation, if you will, to keep on going and build on that dream, right? I love that. Thank you for that. Would you be up for taking us with you on that exercise that you've prepared?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a short exercise, right? But I think it's really important. And the question I want to ask you is if you know your critical net worth, right? Most people go like, what are you even talking about? I didn't know mine, but I think it's very important. So basically what you need to know is, okay, so what is my number I need to be financially free? And it's actually usually a lot lower than most people think. So say, okay, Dennis, look, okay, so I can ask you, how much money do you need a year to survive? We can do this exercise on you, Feline. How much money do you need a year to survive? You can say just a hypothetical number. You don't say a real number. It's whatever, you know. But most people, we can do an example. Most people would maybe 3,000 a month, maybe, right? So 3,000 a month, what? That's 36,000 a year. Yeah. So okay, you need to find a way to make 36,000 a year. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. Well, you can be working, right? You find a job that pays you 3,000 a year. That's great. But what if you could find a number? I mean, that's quite difficult to calculate, actually. I need a calculator for this. Maybe you can help me here, Feline. But if let's take an example. If you want to make 36,000 per year, and let's imagine you have 100,000. How many percent a month do you need to make 3,000 a month? Testing you here.
Well, I'm trying to.
I don't think you need to calculate the full this, right? You have 100,000, you want to make 3,000 a month. That's 3% a month, right? Right? Yeah. Then you know, oh, actually, I don't need millions. What are these millions everyone's talking about? You need 100,000. And if you have 100,000 and you learn how to make 3% a month, then you get 36,000 a year. So actually, your critical net worth, the money you need to actually live and thrive, maybe you want to have more, right? We can discuss that in a moment. But if you want to have 3,000, you need 100,000. That's your critical net worth. But you might say, Dennis, I don't know how to make 3% a month. Okay, great. Well, you better learn then, right? That's one option. Or I can say anyone, even with the strategy I shared with you, the PCA, just investing, anyone can learn how to make 20% a year. 20% a year. Anyone can learn that. Over time, not every year, but over time. So 20% a year. Okay, let's say you can make 20% then. So if you want to make 36,000, how much money do you need now? Okay, but let's say, let's say you have 200,000. So 20% of 200,000 is actually 40,000. Okay, so if you can make 20% a year, you need 200,000. And anyone can do that, you say? Okay, great. So then your critical net worth is 200,000. But let's say I can't make 10%. Okay, great. Maybe you can make 10%. And if you make 10%, then you need 360,000 a year. Oh, sorry, in total. If you have 360,000, you make 10% a year. That's 36,000 as well. Does that make sense? There's two options. Either you get a lot of money. Say, oh, I have 1 million, Dennis. Great. If you have 1 million, you only need to make a few percent a year, right? To make 36,000. But most people don't have 1 million. So the option is to have a smaller amount of money, maybe 100,000. I think over time we can all build up to that with some good habits. But then you only need to make more percentages. And if you want to make more percentages, you need education. Then you need to learn how to do this. So if you can, and look, I make around 4.53% a year, a month, sorry, which is 50-60% a year. So personally, I don't need that much. I need less than 100,000 to be able to live out of my trading and investing. And there's so many ways of this. You can be so creative here. But does that make sense? Yeah?
Yes, to me it really does, and I hope to everybody watching or listening, it does too.
What I'll do, I will share a link for you to where we have created a compounding calculator where you put in your number, how much you can start with, and then you put in the percentage you can make, and then it's going to give you the plan for the next 15 years. And you cannot believe the power of compounding. We're going to go through that a lot more in depth in both the book and the webinars as well.
I love that, and thank you so much for being willing to share all that material with us. The compounding calculator. You've talked about the book, about all the material that the webinar. I don't know if you were already finished with the exercise, so I don't want to just hop across.
That's worth. Let's get on it, right? Because if you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to get there? Most people think millions. I'm never going to reach millions. I'm not even going to try. But if you, I also only need 100,000, then maybe you can create a plan for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it makes it sound so much more doable for people that if they need to start at some point to first get there, right? Otherwise, the goal will be too big, and we don't even start.
Yeah, and the same with you. I'm gonna help, but I know you're helping a lot of people, right, with their health, mindset, psychology, and everything. And if you go, I'm gonna help 1 billion people, you're gonna go, how on earth are you gonna help 1 billion people? Why don't you start with 1, and then 5, and then 10, and then right? That's what Tony Robbins did as well. You just need to stay with everything else.
Yes, exactly. I love that. And thank you so much for that beautiful exercise and how to calculate this critical net worth that is needed for you, for all of you listeners and watchers today, to start on that investing journey of yours. And if you're already on that journey, it might still be very helpful to calculate this every now and then to make sure where you're going, and to also celebrate the wins that you've been able to create for yourself along the journey, right? Because that's very important. To not forget about the celebration every now and then.
No, that's important. I'm not very good at the celebrating part, but yes, it's very important as well.
Yes, I can. Well, this is what I can relate to, and I think a lot of us entrepreneurs and go-getters and high achievers find it hard to celebrate and stand still every now and then and just see where we came from, where we're now, and where we're going to from this point. And I just love to just put that in there. Keep on celebrating because you're doing amazing, and we need you to celebrate in that sense, so that you can keep that energy up, because we need all of you beautiful heart-based leaders here. And
yeah, the world needs more leaders, absolutely.
Yes, and I'd love to ask you 2 last questions, if that's okay with you. One of them is, what has been your biggest insight these past 2 years on your own personal development journey, on your own personal growth as an entrepreneur?
I mean, there's so many of them, right? But I can pick a couple that comes to my mind. Number one, it's been very tough times for most people, right? And one big learning I got was that just by being creative, there's a lot of entrepreneurs listening, just by being creative, you can generate so much wealth for yourself, and then of course share that with others. So what we did during the pandemic, for example, was that we actually started to sell medical equipment, the COVID tests, etc. And it became really big, right? Just because we were creative and we had no clue what we were doing, right? We were literally on the phone, like, hey, do you want to buy this? Like, well, do I have these, all these certifications? We go, I don't know. So we had to look it up while we were on the phone. And so we didn't know what we were doing, but we just took action, small steps, right? Creates tremendous results. And we managed to become one of the biggest suppliers in Sweden for those. And there's just a testament of anyone can really do it, because I'm not special in that sense. I'm just like most of you, go-getter, and just be a bit creative. So whenever there's something happening, how can you do this, right? How can I take advantage of this situation and even at the same time help people? Because that's what it's all about. So that's a really good insight I got from the pandemic. For most, it was the worst thing that happened, and for us, in many senses, it absolutely was. But we did that. But also with Markets and Investment Mastery, we had a complete live business. We had live events, and overnight, done. I'm like, holy shit! Right? What do we do now? So we built a studio. I mean, you can see fragments of the one we have in Sweden, but We built a whole studio in UK, and you should see the first pictures. It was horrendous, right? We had no clue what we were doing, but we just went for it. And now it's became our core business. So turning these challenges to opportunities, there's always solutions, always people like you can do joint venture with. You just need to be creative. Because most people give up, by the way. They just lay down on their back and they give up. That's most people. So just by trying, you will by default become successful if you keep trying, because most people don't. And so that's one big learning. What was the other question? Another one there? Or?
That is beautiful. That is one big learning. And if you have another insight that you'd like to share, you're free to do so, of course.
Yeah, I have a lot of learnings, but I think one really big learning as well. I mean, I have so many of them, but one of them is definitely, to have multiple income streams. Do whatever you can to really generate a lot of income streams. Now, for me, for example, I don't know where the market's going to go. I invested in 4 properties now just before the market is starting to crash, right? But it doesn't matter because I have other income streams. I don't need the money now. I need them maybe in 10, 20, well, I don't, but 10, 20 years. So as long as you start building, I did not know what I was doing in properties when I started, but now I do. So I think it's just really important to start building the different income streams. Well, forever it takes with properties, you require quite a bit of capital, depending on the strategy you use. But more so, trading and investing is so simple to start with. And if I told you, if you just learn the skills, you can get hold of millions. I just know trade other people's money where you have zero risk. There are those possibilities as well when you have learned how to do this. You just need to acquire the skill. So then you have all of a sudden a couple of different income streams, and that's going to make sure that you do not suffer the same way if something happens to your business or to your career. Then you have options, which it was like.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing those 2 beautiful insights. To stay creative, to keep on going, because by default you'll be successful if you do more than anybody else does. And the other one, to kind of create those.
Yeah, multiple.
The multiple income streams. I love it. Yes, thank you so much for that. And before I ask you about that webinar and the book, the name of the book, and everything that you'd love to share, and where people can find you, one last question, and that is, what is kind of a personal saying or a motto or maybe a quote, something that you live by, that you think is important for people to remind themselves of?
Yeah, I have a couple, right, that I really live by, and I have one on my computer screen every day that I look at. But I do actually believe in what comes around goes around, right? I'm a big believer in that. So the more value, you're never going to lose out by providing value. Some people go, that I provide so much value and never get anything in return, so I'm going to stop. It's always worked out for me, even though I can't see it. Sometimes I just gave so much value and I didn't get anything back. But all of a sudden, a year or 2 later, then I got a lot of value and luck back to me. So that saying has always stuck with me, and I always live by that, providing a lot more value than I can, right? And really come from that right space, because in my opinion, it's always going to come back to you. Maybe not where you are now, but eventually, right? So that's number one. And the second one is, I have it written here, right? The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So it's all about doing the foundational work. The better prepared you are, the more you practice. You can make mistakes. I make so many mistakes. But the more you practice and the more you really do, when no one's watching, that's when it counts, right? The more practice you do when no one's watching. I've done probably 1,000 or maybe, I don't know, a lot more than that, but thousands of webinars, which is why I've become quite good at it. But I wasn't good in the beginning, but I just kept going. I practiced 20 minutes a day, funnily enough. Just doing, in the mirror, watching Marcus, watching T.R. Becker, watching Tony Robbins, and then I became better and better at it. So really, do the foundational work. With trading and investing, is true as well, right? Do you think these YouTube stars or anyone, right, you Feline or any entrepreneur, do you think this magically, boom, became successful or very wealthy? No. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, right, 10 years, they were unprofitable, working from a basement, and his wife took care of him, now his ex-wife. But right? So really study success. It's not an overnight thing. It requires work. It requires practice. Because the more you practice, then when you go, what I did, right, is a great example. I lost 70% of my account because I went straight into war with my trading and investing. But now I practiced on a demo account with no money, just fake money in there. And then I managed to create a success out of that, put in the foundational work, and now I can live out of my trading and investing as a result of that.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. This is so important. I don't have anything to add there. To end today's session off, I would love to give you some space on where people can find you. I will share, of course, the links to that below this podcast and also below this IGTV. But maybe you could also tell them out loud.
Yeah,
so that
I mean, we're gonna have some links so you can join a stock masterclass we have, and one for cryptos as well, and also download the books for free we have, one for crypto and stocks and how you get started, and really some of the basic strategies as well. And then I'll share. Connect with me. I love to connect with you and my team. So LinkedIn is a great place. You can connect with me. I'm also going to share a link to we have a community where you can join for free, the Investment Mastery, the I Am Insider, where you get some free courses and stuff like that as well. So you can start your journey. So I'll send you the links for those. You'll find those below, I'm sure. And I would love to connect with you. And I mean, if you want to as well, we don't usually do this, but I'm more than happy to give you a link so you can book a free consultation as well with one of my traders. So then you can get 15-20 minutes with them, or your personal journey, what you can improve, where you are, so we can support you in that as well. And of course, everything for free.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I love it so much. And would you like people to connect with you on your more personal account or on Investment Mastery? Where should people go, and what is the name of your social media?
That's a great question. I don't actually know. I mean, on LinkedIn, it's Dennis Sahlström, right? It's just my name. So I'll send you a link. I'm sure that's going to be the best way. But just search for my name, and it should come up everywhere. I have Facebook, but LinkedIn, I guess, is a great place to connect. And I'm always open for questions. Always open to help, because that's how I started Investment Mastery, and break me with open arms. And I've like to return that favor as well, because once again, the more value I can give, I can help people, the more I will get back. How universe works.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for everything and all the extra over-delivering and supporting, and all the links and material that people can find, and for sharing your precious time with us. I'm grateful for getting to connect with you again, and I want to thank all of you being here, listening, joining, and for sharing the hearts in between. I'm grateful for all of you taking out that time of your schedules, and I can't wait to invite you to a next Soul Care Life class. We'll do that in 2 weeks. There are 2 every month, so I'll let you know when they are, and I hope that you join us. You'll find more information on what Dennis does and his beautiful Investment Mastery, and a free crypto and a free stock course. I know that you can find that a lot of material on that on your YouTube account as well. We didn't even talk about it. And what I've done in our own membership area for our Soulful Life coaching and business accelerators, people can find in the financial freedom files access to these YouTube videos of Dennis, and they're super insightful. So I hope that you give yourself the time to watch them and follow that beautiful course, because they've created so much value and so much free material, and you'll get even more after today. We'll share the links to that. And thank you, Grimme brother. Thanks, Dennis. Very insightful. And thanks, Feline, for facilitating. Thank you. I loved having you here. And yeah, I think we're ready to end today's session with. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Dennis, so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity, and thank you, Feline.
You're so welcome, and talk soon.
Absolutely.
Bye. Bye.